I was a little kid in elementary school. I looked different than everybody else. I mean, I went to school in a 98.8% all black area. And here I am, my skin's as dark as theirs, but I got this wavy, curly little hair. And people be looking at me, girls going, you got nice, pretty hair. I tell them, don't touch me, I ain't your dog, you don't pet me. Guys used to mess with me all the time, try and take my money, and I refuse to let you have anything of mine. I wouldn't give you nothing. You tell me to give you something, no. I tell you right quick, this ain't Gimme Ohio, this is Cleveland, Ohio. And we go to war. I fought every day. And people think I'm joking when I say it, but I fought every day from the time I was, I'd say, 5th grade until I got to be a freshman in high school.
Growing up with him, I was competitive, and my brother was always a fighter, I'll say that. He's always been aggressive, and not towards everyone. I mean, I just think he's set in his ways, and he's like, well, you know, you're not gonna pick on me, and I wouldn't take anything from him. I mean, he was always that way. He's always saying, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna do this, but I used to run all the time. And we had an older home and had that big back door. So if I make it up the stairs and I grab that door, I could slam that door on him. See, he couldn't stop that door because that door was heavy. And I make it to the bathroom. They used to have a pillow and a blanket in the tub for me because they knew I'd probably end up in the bathroom, and I locked the door because he couldn't break the door. See, remember he said, don't break anything. So he couldn't really break anything. He couldn't put his foot through the door. So I knew that was my best friend. So it was challenging growing up with him.
I'd fight, run, and the first one to catch up, me and him would go to fighting again. I'd stop there and start fighting in front of the church across the street from my house. And that's when they started calling me the holy fighter, because I didn't care. I was not gonna let anybody take advantage of me. I was not gonna let anybody bully me. I was one of those kids that would tell you what was on my mind, because my dad had raised us to say what's on your mind and do what you say you're gonna do. When you ask me a question, you got a straightforward answer. It may not have been the nicest one, may not have been pretty, but it was a straightforward answer. You knew where I stood.
But I told him, I says, if you want to play football, I says, I'm with you. That's what you want to do. He said, Dad, I want to play football.
I think as far as motivating, he gave us the drive and the determination to play. My mom was more or less, she was the discipline, and she made us tough. Sounds odd, but my father's always the one that told us, you got to dream. Dream about what you want to do, and you'll make it successful. And no matter what someone tells you, push towards your dream. But that's, that was the guy I followed. That's the guy I always wanted to do the same things he did. Darryl was playing football, I wanted to play football. I think he's always been, I hate to say overachiever. I mean, even in high school, I think he played 4 games his junior year in high school and 3 games his senior year, because he broke his hand one year and then he broke his ankle running. And they thought they were gonna have a good team in high school. He broke his ankle.
Talley actually played only 3 high school football games his senior year, but he had 56 tackles in 3 games.
Gary Stevens showed up. He came to see Valley Forge at the time. It may have been Valley Forge. He came to see them play because they had a couple guys that they were going to go to D1 schools. And I had made a bet with my buddies that I could make Dream Team player. They would all look at me laughing, okay, that's the player of the week. So I was, okay, fine. Bet's on. I go out, I make every tackle in the game but 2. And afterwards, the coaches came over and said, son, where have you been all year? I said, I've been hurt. You've been hurt? Yeah, what was wrong with you? I had a broke ankle. You running like that on a broke ankle? I said, yeah. Well, back then I could get up and fly. That's how I got recruited to West Virginia. Gary Stevens was there to see somebody else and seeing me. I had Syracuse, Iowa, and Iowa State. I looked at it and I went, Iowa State? A little too far away from home. Syracuse was a nice trip. I almost went to Syracuse. But then I said, I came here and I fell in love with WVU because there were a lot of guys from the Cleveland area here already, and there was a bunch of guys coming to school here that were from my area. So I said, okay, I'll go to WVU.
When he told me he was going to West Virginia, I said, well, where is that? He learned an awful lot down in West Virginia. You know, he learned how to deal with people.
We had guys that wanted to be good, but didn't know how to be good. We would go out and we would play hard. And we would get beat on stupid mistakes. We beat ourselves. And as soon as we figured out that if we don't beat ourselves, they can't beat us. And as long as we take the fight to them and don't wait on them to bring the fight to us, we can win.
Talley actually had a projector in his dorm room because he watched extra game film. And we hated to lose, especially back then we major independent, we played Pitt, Penn State. And it just killed us because some of those guys actually was in the area from Ohio and everything with the Pitt, a couple of guys and everything. So, you know, we'd see those guys and they'll shake their head and laugh and everything, and it just tears up.
Well, when I got here, Darryl Talley was about 175 pounds, 6'2", raw football player, really rough around the edges. But the one thing that Darryl could do is he could run and he would strike you. And Darryl Talley had that natural, God-given striking ability. When he hit you, he flat out hit you.
They brought Coach Nehlen in, and he looked at us, and guys had their feet up on the chairs and everything. Told him, get your feet off the chairs. Hey, you, feet off the chairs. So I'm looking at this guy, I'm going, okay, now what do we got here? I'm looking at him, he says, okay, I'm gonna tell you guys something. One part of his speech, he said, all you guys are my guys right now. I didn't recruit you, but you're my guys. I'm looking at him going, wait a minute. I'm growing up in Cleveland going, you gonna tell me I'm your guy? You didn't recruit me? What the heck is wrong with you? I ain't believing anything you got to say, buddy. And then over time, you've seen that he honestly and truly cared, and he was trying to get us to get better. And then you start going, okay, this guy's got what we need to do. He's got an idea, he's got a plan. Before that game, I went in and I talked to Coach Signetti, and he told me he's gonna redshirt me.
It's one of the things that was our big goal, get to a bowl game. The Michigans, the Ohio States, the Alabamas, they all go to a bowl game. We want to put our little name right there. We want to go to a bowl game every year.
The Peach Bowl Team Selection Committee is unanimous in extending a bid to West Virginia University to play in our bowl classic. Congratulations.
As he accepted the bid on behalf of the players he had led to an 8-3 record, Don Nehlen could not have been happier. At least, not until they flexed their muscles for a national television audience and trounced Florida 26-6 on New Year's Eve.
Oh, he told us, they got this David Galloway guy over there, and he's gonna just rip our offensive line apart. You, Keith Jones, he's gonna beat you so bad your mother's not gonna know you. He was saying all kind of stuff to us, and we all started teasing Keith. Yeah, Keith, you can get your butt whooped. Keith went out and played against David Galloway, held his own, and I think beat him. And the game started to rain, and we were just, they didn't give us a chance. And we said, you know what? We're just as good as they are. We can beat them. And we had a mud turtle in the game, Mickey Walzak, one of the toughest guys you want to see run the ball. Wasn't very fast, wasn't really shifty, but when he put his head down, he was going north and south. So we played that game, and we beat them, and nobody believed we beat them. Because everybody's like, they had, Wilbur Marshall was on that team, Wayne Peace. There's a bunch of guys that played in the league. They were all on that team, and we came out and we beat them in the Peach Bowl.
But that game there, I think it was 105 degrees. He had a temperature of 102, and he played.
You talking about sick?
I knew he was sick, but Dennis Folk said, suck it up, Talley, you're going. Dennis handled Darryl for me.
I'm like, I can't do this. Go to the sideline, I'm sitting there, I got my head down. Dennis comes off the sideline and goes up one side of me, down the other. I looked at him and said, look, I'm sick. He looked at me and said, I don't care, you gotta play. I play, you ain't Darryl Talley, I know. You know, me and him went at it for, I don't know, that whole series of officers on the field. Went back out there, I played.
And somewhere in their hearts, his young men found the courage. And when the final score went down, they knew that they had won. You got to know you can hold them. No, you can't fold them. No, you can't throw the ball. No, you can't run. You never count your winnings till the last down is over. There'll be time enough for counting when the game is done.
That was an amazing, amazing victory. And as I look back over the transformation of the West Virginia football program, I think in 1980 we brought to them big-time football, but in 1982 when we beat Oklahoma, that put us in a different category. All of a sudden, hey, these guys can play, because we had beaten Florida and Oklahoma back-to-back.
Dennis had something like 20 tackles in that game. He played his butt off. But that game, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I hurt so bad, but I knew I couldn't let my teammates down. I had to go back in the game. I went back in and we finished the game.
And that's the game I knew that Darryl Talley was going to be All-American, not the Pittsburgh game. It ain't like he had an outstanding game. But when you go out there with a temperature of 102 and you still perform, that makes you a great player.
Backyard Brawl was just, in my opinion, it's two schools that are very close together in color and size and makeup. They actually go after a lot of the same kids. And it's just the idea that they got the same colors on you got on. That ain't right. Somebody needs to take them colors off. And I was one of those people that I believed in having turf wars. I'm gonna get you out of my area. I don't care. I used to look at it and go, that's a funny story. I used to laugh because I grew up in the city. I had not seen a lot of the stuff that I'd seen here in West Virginia. And I just laughed. I thought it was funny. And then as I started playing guys, and then I'd meet them in the off season or somewhere around town, or in Pittsburgh, in Marino's case, and they used to call us hoopies and hillbillies. And I used to get so mad. You call me, what are you? What are you? And that's when I started really giving Pitt garbage.
I remember that game very vividly, because going into it, I said to myself, not only are we playing maybe the best team in the country from a physical standpoint, but we got to go there. And we had maybe 5 or 6 really good players. The rest of the guys were they were our Mountaineers, but they weren't going to go into the next level or anything like that. But that game was a fantastic football game.
The Pitt game, I had tried everything I could think of to beat Pitt during my whole collegiate career. I mean, I had games where I had 18, 20 tackles, a couple pass breakups, a sack, a couple tackles for a loss. I couldn't do it. I had to figure out some other way to do it.
Pitt had as good a football players as you were going to find anywhere in the country.
We played them one year when they graduated 19 players that got drafted.
I mean, almost all of them went to the NFL. And Darryl Talley was a one-man wrecking crew against that team.
We played them, and I was like, you know what, I'm still going to outplay everybody. I'm going to outplay Hugh Green, I'm going to outplay Ricky Jackson, and I'm going to outplay Delbert. I'm going to outplay everybody, because you know why? This game's on national TV, and guess what? You put me on national TV, I'm going to show my butt. I used to tell my old man, I said, Pop, you ever put me on national TV, I'm going to show my butt. They ain't going to have to worry about it. So I was on the punt block team. Blocked the punt, picked it up, scored. I ran Brian Thomas down from about, he had a good 40-yard or 30-yard lead on me. I came from the other side, caught him, ran him. I just refused to lose.
Darryl Talley is one of the greatest football players ever to wear the old gold and blue. Only time will tell, but one thing for sure, outside linebacker may never be played the same. He came to West Virginia, a gangly prospect from Cleveland. He left a 6'4" hulk. Talley ran faster than most of the backs, hit harder than any lineman, and played with more intensity than words can describe. A consensus All-America selection, West Virginia's first since the 50s, Talley is a sure bet for professional glory.
I can remember people telling me after I played Pitt, Cedric says, "You gonna get drafted." I'm gonna get drafted? What you talking about, man? I ain't going no dang on Army. You said, "No, you gonna get drafted in the NFL." Yeah, right, man. Keep going. We're gonna play. We're gonna win. That was it, plain and simple. I was not having anything else. I graded, I was the 5th best player in the draft. But because I told the truth of what was wrong, I had a pinched nerve in my neck and shoulder, but I didn't miss any games. The draft was so stacked that little thing, guys go through now with it, nobody even pays any attention. But back then, any little thing, they tabbed you with it. So that got me kicked all the way to the 2nd round.
For a while, Buffalo was the doormat of the National Football League. They didn't have a lot of great players. And I think it actually started when Darryl got there. Jim Kelly was a 1st-round draft pick and Darryl was a 2nd-round draft pick. And, took him a while to get started. But once he got that opportunity to play and once he got that opportunity to be a starter in the National Football League, he took advantage of it.
I just looked at it and I went, okay, fine. I'm here. I got to make the best of it. Somebody's got to take the back seat. Somebody's got to take a bullet. I'll take the bullet. But y'all better not ever let me down.
When I arrived in Buffalo, the first person I saw was Darryl Talley. I think playing in that atmosphere of upstate New York and in Buffalo, he could identify with that atmosphere. That atmosphere meaning blue-collar workers, because that's what he was. He put in an honest day's work, and he got an honest day's pay.
I mean, he was part of the blue-collar system that people talk about, the blue-collar people. Darryl was that person.
My very first day as a Buffalo Bill, after meeting with the defensive staff for a number of hours, Darryl came in, introduced himself, and I was sitting with the training camp playbook, and this was week 9 of the season. And Darryl told me to put the book away. Everything that I needed to know, he would teach me, and he did just that.